Hi Indie Chicks, my name is Ashley Josephine and I empower women to live life holistically with a W, body, mind, and soul. Today I put together a yoga sequence for you to help you get over the shittiest of shitty days. If you're feeling totally burnt out, completely frustrated, really angry, or just are not having a good day, do these yoga poses to help you feel better. Start in a forward fold. You don't need a mat per se, but if you have one, come to the top of your mat and just bend forward. Bring the weight toward the balls of your feet so that your hips stack directly over your ankles. Allow your hands to just hang, or you can grab the opposite elbows and do the same thing with your head and your neck, allowing yourself enough flexibility to really shake out your head. The secret to yoga is really breathing, so make sure that you're taking deep inhales and exhales as you're bending over here. See if you can inhale and exhale through your nose. And close your eyes. Imagine all that anger and that frustration and that shit from your day just rolling off your shoulders. If you have really tight hamstrings, you can always bend your knees. That's totally okay. From here, if your feet are about hip distance apart, bring them into touch so that your toes touch and there's a slight space in between your heels. And then start to bend your knees and sit your butt down like you're sitting into a chair behind you. This pose is called chair pose. And then you'll bring your hands up. Your biceps will line up with the back of your ears. Gaze down over your knees. Make sure you can see all 10 toes. And to ensure that your weight is in the back of your feet, lift up the toes. That will swing your weight back. Now tuck your tailbone down slightly, tilting it down toward the ground. And pull your chest up. Gaze out in front of you. Now this pose is really great for the thighs. In fact, if you're not used to doing a lot of yoga, you probably already feel your thighs burning here. Our thighs are one of the biggest muscles in the body. And for me at least, they always cause a lot of frustration. They're the first muscle where I start to get angry if I'm using them a lot in exercises. And this pose is generating a lot of heat. As you feel that burning in your thighs, you might start to feel a lot of angry emotions. Just come back to your breath here. Breathing in and out through your nose. And imagine all of that shit that's going on in your day. Just power through it with deep, long breaths. You can do this. Stay with me. Just a few more breaths here. This is like the punching bag of yoga, a little more passive, calm way to get out all of those negative emotions. One more deep inhale. And then start to very slowly sit your butt all the way down to the ground and take a seat. Next, we'll do easy pose after that challenging one. Just come to a comfortable seat. If you can sit cross-legged, that's awesome. If not, do the best that you can. Just make sure that your sit bones are really rooting down into the ground, connected to the ground or the mat that you're sitting on. Now from here, just take your hands and place them on your thighs and close your eyes. That's it. That's all you've got to do. Keep breathing here. You might notice that your heart rate is elevated after that difficult chair pose. When we're sitting here, relax your shoulder blades down away from your ears. That's physically relaxing the upper body. Find a straight spine. Sit up as tall as you can, pressing your chest slightly forward. And just concentrate on your breath. Notice any thoughts or emotions that are moving through the mind, maybe some of those sad or negative emotions from the day that you've had, maybe some anger, especially after that chair pose. Just notice them. Try not to judge them or think, oh, I shouldn't be thinking this or I'm doing something wrong. Just see if you can acknowledge that the thoughts and the emotions are there, and then on your exhale, breathe them out and go on to the next emotion. If your mind is just completely running and you can't get the thoughts out of your head, see if you can come back to your breath and just count on your inhale in your mind, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then pause at the top of the inhale and then count to 5 on the exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you activate the brain and you start that counting, you don't have room in your mind to be running through all those different thoughts of the day. So take a few more inhales here, seeing if we can just calm the mind a little bit, relax and let go some of those shitty emotions, the shitty things that happen to us during the day. To move into a hip stretch. It's called runner's lunge. So come back to the top of your mat. Start on your knees and your hands and bring your right foot in between your hands all the way to the outside of the mat or to the outside wider than your hips. If your two hands are on the inside of the right foot and your back knee, scoot it back a little bit so you're on the very top of the back knee. Now this pose will open up the inside of your hips. It can be really intense for those of us who aren't used to doing a lot of hip stretches. So, you might feel a lot of intensity right here in the pose. But if you're not feeling a whole lot, you can always walk down onto your forearms and that will make the pose deeper. You'll feel it in the front of the left leg and also in the inner thighs on the right leg. Relax your head and your neck here. And remember to breathe. Make sure that your toes of the right leg are pointing in the same direction as the knee, and that the knee is not past the ankle. This will help protect the joints in your knee. Now we stretch out the hips because again, we're working with one of the larger muscle groups in the body. We tend to store a lot of negative emotions in our hips. So when we take some time to open up this area of the body, we're allowing ourselves to kind of let go or dump out all of that old bad stuff that we don't want to hold on to anymore. And also that's why it can be really intense for some of us, especially if we're letting go of a lot of stuff at once. So close your eyes, see if you can relax into the pose as much as possible, and remember to watch the thoughts as they run through your mind. Letting go of judgment, just acknowledging that they're there and then moving on to the next one. Just take 3 more deep inhales here, and then we'll switch sides. If you're down on your forearms, place your weight back up on your hands, and then come back into a tabletop position with your knees underneath your hips and your hands underneath your shoulders, and then switch sides. Pull your left foot up to the outside of your mat or the outside of the hip. Make sure that the toes are pointing in the same direction as the knee and the knee is behind the ankle. Then scoot back your right knee so that you're on the top of the knee, and right away feel into that hip stretch on the left side and also the front side of the right leg. If you can come back down onto your forearms, release your head and your neck, and breathe. It feels really nice to stretch these muscles that are super tight, and especially if you're someone who does a lot of writing or typing or you sit at a desk all day long. Just the act of sitting really tightens up the muscles in the hips, so this is a really great stretch to release all that tightness that you're accumulating from sitting at your desk all day long. And you get an extra bonus neck stretch here by totally releasing the head and the neck. Make it a goal to see if you can soften a lot of the different parts of the body here rather than focusing on the intensity of the stretch. So releasing any tension in the hands and the fingers, in the shoulders, and the toes. Work through your entire body. Find where you're holding that tension and see if you can manually release it just by breathing in and out and bringing your concentration back to the breath. One more deep inhale here. Then come back up onto your palms if you're not there already, and slowly walk your left foot back into a tabletop position.
Just 2 more poses. We'll come back to a seated position at the front of the mat. Move slowly, especially after that hip stretches. We can start to release a lot of stuff, and all that tension and that tightness makes the muscles a little bit fragile if we move too quickly. So the second to last pose is a twist. We twist to release toxins and toxic buildup in the body, and negative emotions are a huge toxin. So start by releasing your left leg out in front of you and taking your right leg over the left thigh. Just placing that foot over the thigh like this. Make sure that, again, you're sitting down on both sit bones, both butt cheeks touching the ground. Then lift your right arm up and either wrap around the knee or bring your elbow to the outside of the knee and twist over towards your left. Your left hand is behind your back, as close to your body as you can to help you sit up straight. Again, breathe here. Find a long, tall spine. And on your exhale, see if you can twist a little bit further. This will be a nice stretch in your back and the spine. When we twist the body like this, we're wringing out the organs, the digestive organs, where a lot of that toxic buildup occurs. So it's great to compress all of those organs. And then when we release, a bunch of fresh oxygenated blood comes through our system and helps clear out all of the negative stuff that buildup. One more deep inhale here. And then very slowly release. And we'll switch sides. So your right leg will come out long. You'll take your left foot on the outside of the right thigh. Sit down on both butt cheeks. Find a tall spine. Right hand comes behind you as close to the body as possible. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, twist over toward your right. Again, if you need to, you can grab hold of the knee as a modification. Whatever works best for your body. All of our bodies are created differently, so we all can't do the same things, and that's perfectly okay. Plus, we're all coming at this from a different place of flexibility and strength, so really be compassionate to your body and take care of yourself. There's no need to look exactly like me, and no need to worry about whether or not you're doing it right or wrong. If you follow the cues that I give you to the best of your ability, you'll be perfectly safe, and you'll feel awesome and great. No need to injure yourself and create more shit.
Allow yourself to be perfectly present, perfectly relaxed, perfectly still, perfectly just as you are. Forget all the shit that happened to you earlier in the day. And resolve that when you get up out of this pose, it will be behind you in the past, no longer part of you or with you, and that you're moving on with the rest of your day without that extra baggage, without something holding you back or dragging you down. Stay here in this pose as long as you want. To get out of it, you'll just roll over onto your side and sit back up to a seated position. This has been your yoga sequence for a shitty day. I hope that you're feeling 100% better than you did when you started the class. My name is Ashley Josephine, and you can find more of my free videos on my website at ashleyjosephine.com. Have a great day.